And welcome to the Schorr Manor Chronicles. Got two fairly big things that we can talk about today. One is that, amazingly, at least in my eyes, we just wrapped up the Moby Dick Back from the Deep webcomic, like in total, like published the last page a couple weeks ago, and it's done. That's it. The story is finished. I'm not going to swear that I won't come up with some kind of a sequel idea later on, because as we all know, when it comes to horror comics, the one thing we don't like is closure. But it's just sort of surreal to think about the fact that it's finished. I've been working on this webcomic for 4 years. 4 years of my life. And I was synonymous with a zombified version of Moby Dick. So it's kind of weird thinking about it being over. Obviously, I have other stories to tell and other stories that I'm working on, certainly things coming out the pike. And it's not the last thing I'm going to do with Moby Dick. Of course, we have a Kickstarter we're going to be launching to print the final issue, along with any other issues that people might be interested. The last full run, the final Kickstarter, final voyage of Captain Ahab and his crew, so to speak. So be on the lookout for my social media on that one. I definitely would love people to be a part of it. But I don't know, it's a big deal to me anyway, to think that it's finished. We were able to see this thing through from beginning to the end. A lot of independent projects don't pull that off, but we did. I'm intensely proud of that fact. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting that we pulled that off, and now it's time to look to the future and see what we can do next. So speaking of the future and things that we can do next, a big thing this year is we are looking to start back at conventions in earnest. I dipped my toes on my own in the waters of conventions last year. I went to one in June, just to see how things were going, as I had hoped we were pulling out of the whole COVID pandemic thing. And obviously we still aren't yet, but I went to one and then kind of retreated because, and I mean, I'm not going to name any names at all here. I'm not even going to name the convention because I don't want anybody to feel bad or whatever, because I'm not mad at anybody. It's just, it is what it is. But the one that I went to, a week or so later, I heard from a lot of the people, that other independent writers out there that I've become friends with, not a lot, I should say, but one or two that actually contracted COVID. And can't swear to this, but I'm relatively sure it happened at that specific convention. Don't know. But that just made me a little bit leery, because even at the time I was completely vaccinated, not all of my kids were. And that was actually the beginning of the Delta variant wave, which was extremely dangerous. It was very, symptoms, I think, if I remember, were they more intense, and it was more easily to transmit. So just in the interest of my children, I just thought, I don't want to risk bringing something home to them. So I stepped back. And I mean, you could say that I lost some money over that decision, because I had a handful of conventions planned for that year. But I told them all, look, it's just a little bit risky, and I'm just not comfortable with it. And if anybody wants to call me a coward for that, feel free, because I'll just say this. It wasn't my own safety I was really worried about. It's one thing for me to take a risk on my own, but if I were to keep going, it put my kids at risk, who did not have vaccination or defenses that I had in place. I wasn't so much worried about me. It's one thing, this is a horrible analogy, but it's one thing for a firefighter to go into a burning building himself or with other firefighters. It's a far other thing for him to take a civilian by the hand and make them go into the burning building with them. Not a great analogy, I know, but it's the closest I got to what I felt like I would have been doing if I kept going to conventions while my kids weren't protected. But now my kids are vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. I'm boosted, and there are vaccines coming out for younger children as well. I'm not going to say it's a magic cure-all, but it is a step in the right direction. And so it just feels like, okay, maybe I'm going to give this another shot. Maybe we can do this and it'll be safe. So we hope to go back in earnest. We got several planned, hoping to get at least something planned. Try to plan something once a month throughout the year of 2022. So we will see. 2021 was supposed to have the summer of hope, and that kind of fizzled out. But maybe 2022 will be when we start to pull out of this pandemic and it officially becomes endemic. But regardless, not going to stop trying to come out the other end and return to a level of normalcy. Going to be cautious, if, some big tragedy and disaster happens and, things completely go the other way, then yeah, I'll pull back and, even if it costs money, but just for the sake of safety, we'll do it. But for right now, I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, confidently confident, say whatever, that Schorr Manor and my Independence horrifying comics and novels will be back on trade tables at trade shows, conventions, ready for the public to check out. So you'll be able to see me more than just online. But so those are that's the big news right now moving forward. It's kind of exciting stuff. Moby Dick is finished and we're hoping to go back to conventions. We're going to see how this goes. Fingers crossed. We're going to play it safe, but good luck to all of us. I hope to see some of you folks there, and take care of yourselves. And of course, happy hunting.